Let's practice how to count protons, neutrons, and electrons from some isotope information. Perhaps we have an isotope, perhaps we have an atom of carbon-14, and we want to do a couple of things. We want to say, question, how many protons, how many neutrons, how many electrons does it have, and also perhaps, what's the nuclide symbol? So how might we approach something like this? And the first thing we have to know is that carbon symbol on the periodic table is a C. And if we look at our periodic table, above carbon, we will see the number 6. And below, we'll see a number that's 12.011, depending on your periodic table. The number on the top is the atomic number. And the number on the bottom we haven't dealt with yet in this course, but this turns out to be the average weight of all the different isotopes of carbon, arranged according to the proportions that you find them typically on the planet Earth. I mean, assuming you're taking this on Earth. So the answer to our first question then is the atomic number is 6. So the number of protons is equal to the atomic number. And so all carbon atoms have 6 protons in their nucleus. The number of electrons is actually 6 as well. And the reason for that is that atoms are neutral. And that is to say they are uncharged. So if I can spell neutral. And if they don't have a charge, that means that their positives and their negatives must balance out. And that is typically handled by the number of protons exactly equal to the number of electrons. So they have 6 protons, 6 electrons. How do we find the number of neutrons? Well, the 14 there is actually the mass number. And if you remember, the mass number is the number of protons plus the number of neutrons. And so we can rearrange. If we want to find the number of neutrons, that is just the mass number minus the number of protons. And the mass number was 14, and the number of protons, so the atomic number, was 6. 14 minus 6 is 8, I hope. You can always double check, so if you add the number of neutrons to protons, 8 plus 6 is 14. Well, it's pretty much the same thing backwards. So that gives us 8 neutrons. And the last thing is the nuclide symbol. So if you remember, the nuclide symbol essentially is the element symbol, and we write the mass number up high and the atomic number down low. So the mass symbol, or the element symbol, is C. The mass number is 14, and the atomic number is 6, so it looks something like that. Sometimes what we do actually is we leave off the atomic number, and so you could also presumably write the nuclide symbol like so, and you might say, well, that's a little bit naughty, isn't it? Aren't you supposed to write the Z there? And it turns out that yes, you are, but really it's the same information. So we know that all carbon atoms actually have 6 protons, so by writing carbon there, we are also letting us know the number of protons down here. Sometimes it's just useful information to have on hand. You might as well write it out. You may occasionally use it, so why not have it? But you can be lazy, you can leave it off. It turns out it's not technically required.